You've probably heard the stereotype. Napoleon Bonaparte, the French emperor, was short. So short, in fact, that a Napoleon complex became a term for small men who were trying to overcompensate. But here's the twist. Napoleon wasn't actually that short. So why do we all think he was? Let's dig into the history of one of the world's biggest misconceptions about height. Now, Napoleon Bonaparte was one of the most powerful men of the 19th century, reshaping Europe through war, law and politics. But today, most people's first thought isn't about the Napoleonic Code or the Battle of Waterloo. It's that he was tiny, and that's kind of unfair. When Napoleon died in 1821, his doctor measured his body and recorded his height was 5 feet 2 inches. If you heard that today, you'd picture someone pretty short. But here's the catch. Those weren't English feet in inches. They were French feet in inches, which were longer than their British counterparts. 1 French inch was around 2.71 centimetres, compared to the British inch at 2.54 centimetres. That means Napoleon's recorded height actually translates to around 5 feet 6 inches and a half in modern terms, roughly 1.69 metres. And in the early 1800s, that was basically the average height for a Frenchman. In fact, he was taller than some of his famous rivals, like the Duke of Wellington, who defeated him at Waterloo, and who stood at 5'5". So if Napoleon wasn't unusually short, how did the myth get started? Part of the answer lies in propaganda. Britain, locked in decades of war with Napoleon, loved to mock him. British cartoonists like James Gillray exaggerated his size, often drawing him as a tiny man with a huge hat or sword. These cartoons spread widely and cemented the idea of Little Boney, the small tyrant trying to dominate Europe. And those images stuck. After all, it's easy to make fun of your enemies if you turn them into a caricature or a cartoon. There's another wrinkle though. Napoleon's own soldiers sometimes called him Le Petit Caporal, the little corporal. But that wasn't an insult, it was actually a term of endearment, highlighting his bond with his troops. Still, when translated literally, English readers might have taken it to mean he was physically small. And then there's the confusion with his personal bodyguards. Napoleon often surrounded himself with the Imperial Guard, who were all tall, sometimes over 6 feet. Standing amongst them, Napoleon might have looked shorter by comparison, even if he wasn't unusually small. So why did the story survive for 200 years? Well, myths are powerful when they fit a narrative. Napoleon was ambitious, domineering, and at times overbearing. The idea of a short man overcompensating just felt right to his enemies, and later to historians and psychologists. That's where the phrase Napoleon complex came from, the stereotype of a short man who tries to assert dominance to make up for his stature. Ironically, modern psychology doesn't even support the Napoleon complex as a real phenomenon. Studies show shorter men aren't more aggressive than taller ones, but thanks to propaganda, mistranslation, and a catchy nickname, the myth persists. So here's the truth. Napoleon wasn't short. He was about average height for his time, maybe even slightly above. The legend of tiny Napoleon was built by his enemies, reinforced by language confusion and carried forward because it was just too good a story to drop. So the next time someone brings up the Napoleon complex, you'll know it's less about history and more about myths that outlive facts. This has been History of the World. If you've learned something new, click subscribe.